Christmas Eve 2005 was the first night I ever stayed in Fall City, Texas, and I had heavy things to think about. After all, how was Santa going to find me? Luckily, my dad thought of that too. I remember turning down a dirt road and all of a sudden seeing the sky light up with a bright star up at the very top of an old windmill. "It's to guide Santa's sleigh," my dad said. Part of me decided right then and there that I was home, but I still had my doubts. Most of us now, being college age, have experienced a move at least once. At 3 years old, leaving a house on the highway for 180 acres of land was terrifying, until I started settling in and seeing what country life is really like. I learned to face my fears, the wildlife, the solitude, and open my mind to exploring. Now, to me, at the time, animals in the wild were mean. It took a while to realize that they're usually just as scared themselves, or maybe a little extra curious. Not long after the move, I decided to help clean out the old barn. Inside, I heard a hissing sound that stopped me in my tracks. It was a snake. I knew it. Turns out, it was actually a pair of baby black vultures that stood about this tall, still covered in down feathers, and staring up at me like they really just wanted to live to grow up. In a few weeks, I got to see them spread their wings and learn to fly, and it was pretty obvious that they hadn't meant me any harm. But there were still coyotes howling every night. My parents fixed that fear. They told me to howl right back. I tried it, and sure enough, I got an answer from a young, excited pup that sounded absolutely nothing like the big bad wolf. From that point on, the critters, as I called them, didn't bother me anymore. But there was still the quiet. No horns, no sirens, no hustle bustle, just the sound of silence. Honestly, it didn't take long to come to peace with that. Noise, I realized, can be a distraction, but it was one that I didn't need when I took a step a little closer to nature. As Gail Goodwin once phrased it, I found beauty in simplicity. Whether it was walking under the stars, pointing up at constellations, or bending down to touch the first bluebonnets of spring, there were details there that I'd never noticed before. And the more I improved my ability to focus, the easier it was to be comfortable in the quiet. Adjusting to country life, though, wasn't exactly the same as engaging it. My new backyard was full of wide open spaces and free of all the constraints that made city life feel safe. I found a special spot tucked deep back in the brush where the wind is blocked on a winter morning and a little waterfall runs. I found a whole field of flint rocks and my very first arrowhead. Each of these new discoveries gave me the courage to explore more, to try new things, to learn to ride my pony, to fish for perch in the stream, until, after a while, being outdoors held no fear anymore, only fun. Moving at such a young age completely changed my perspective. Leaving a house in town at age 3 was terrifying, until I realized what all country life had to offer. Since then, I've made another move, to College Station. I said goodbye to Fall City, population now 600, and came to a campus of over 60,000. Some weekends, though, I pack up my car and drive 3 hours. It takes me back to the place where I grew up, to 180 acres of home. Thank you.